Hello again and welcome to the Mordian Mondays. This is episode 99. I got 99 Mordians, but a coward ain't one. It took me all day to think of that, I'm not going to lie. Anyway, I hope you guys have been having a great week. I've had a fantastic week because I've been painting classic metal Mordian Iron Guard, and it just feels like putting on a comfy pair of slippers. You know, just painting those classic metal models, it's like muscle memory. I can just switch my brain off, put the audio book on, just listening away. And before you know it, 10 Mordians are done. I mean, that's just so good. I've painted so many of these bozos over the years that I don't even really need to think what I'm doing whilst I'm painting them. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. Feels great to be back on the metal Mordians. Feels great to be back on the infantry. We've been trying different things. We've been painting some like sponsons and some manticores and some sentinels and all this kind of stuff. And you know what? It just feels good to be back doing the Great Mordian Restoration Project. What it's meant to be all about, those classic metal Mordians. It just feels right getting back to the beginning, getting back to the core, getting back to the root of the Great Mordian Restoration Project. So I've been having an absolutely fantastic time. And so yeah, just going through these models. I mean, it's pretty simple, guys. You know, I mean, I know I've done a lot of these, you know, Mordian Restoration videos, 99 to be exact. And I know I have covered lots of different things. And recently I've not done much metal Mordian infantry or Mordian infantry in general. But it just felt great to be painting these models again. And what I did this time, I've taken a slightly different approach. You see, those of you that have followed, you know, this painting project, the saga, as it's been going on for over 2 years now. I think I'm like 2.5 years, or 2 years and a few months anyway. Feels like 2.5 years. You know, what I normally do is I paint a squad. So I'm like, I'll get out my 10 men, and I'll get a sergeant, a special weapon in there, and I'll get a nice variety of poses, maybe a heavy weapon team, and I'll paint that. Or, you know, I'll paint like a squad of Bulgren or something like that. But the point is I always paint a cohesive unit. And I thought, you know what? We've diverged a little bit here and there. I mean, originally this restoration project was at most going to take 2 years. And now I'm thinking, you know, it's already been 2.5. It's easily going to take 3 or 4 years to complete this thing. I mean, there's no rush, but I do want to complete it one day, right? And so what I thought is, let's try something a little different. Let's try painting models all of the same pose, all of a similar pose. Right? So all of these guys, if you notice in the squad, have got the exact same pose, which makes it really, really easy to batch paint them. Because one of the things that I found when I was painting the individual squads is it was always, you know, I'd get into the flow of doing a couple of the same pose, and then I'd be like, oh, well, you know, I've got to sort of reprogram my brain and rethink. I've got to pay attention again. I can't just get into the flow because now I'm painting a model that's like a kneeling down guy, like a totally different guy. You know, you can get around that a little bit by painting all the riflemen and then, you know, painting all of the, the sergeant and whatnot. But I tended to find that on the one hand, you know, it was great because it meant I didn't get bored. There was more variety. But on the other hand, it did mean that I was constantly having to stop and think about, have I done this bit, have I done that bit? Whereas what I found when painting these guys was, yes, it was a little repetitive, a little boring, because I did 10 all of the same sculpt. But it definitely, you know, I was blasting through them, absolutely blasting through them. Got these guys done with a day to spare. And normally I'm painting, you know, every single evening, at least an hour or two. And then I get to the Sunday or Saturday, I spend a whole day doing the painting. And then, you know, I have to rush and make the video. But with these guys, I had like a whole day to spare. I spent Sunday off with the missus, did a bit of shopping, and, you know, played some Nautica, and that was just great, you know, and it was much more relaxing, and I was able to do the video in a much more relaxed way. I mean, there's literally been times, if you go back and look at some of these videos, where the basing material is still drying, you know, because I was literally finished the basing, bang in the light box, do the video straight away. So it felt nice to be able to be a bit more relaxed. So what I'm doing now, and for this platoon, so this is the third platoon of the second company. That's what I'm working on now. And when that's done, I'll have 2 full companies of Mordian infantry. And that's, you know, as you know, I mentioned a few videos ago, a few Mordian videos ago, I've done a little bit of a restructuring. So no longer, you know, the companies being made, you know, including like, you know, Ogrins and specialists and veterans. No. When this platoon is finished, we're looking at 2 full companies of just Mordian infantry. We're talking guardsmen, You know, the most exotic thing in those platoons is going to be a heavy weapon team. And that's what we're talking about. So it feels good to be getting back on that infantry. It feels good to be, you know, just getting back on the Mordian Restoration project, because I can see this company is almost, you know, the end is in sight. All the ones have been stripped, all the ones have been base coated, ready to go. I've got all the officers and everything, got all the infantry ready to go, and so we're really close to having that final platoon, that third platoon done, that second company done, and then we're really getting close, guys. Then at that point, I can confidently say that we are beyond the 2/3 mark, because I'm aiming to have 3 companies to make 1 battalion. Well, 1 battalion is the minimum you need for like a regiment. That's me basing off what I Wikipedia'd about like the British Army and other militaries and try to conglomerate it together. So my aim is to have like a minimum size regiment, and I can say I officially have a full regiment of guys, because people are like, oh, I've got a full chapter of Marines. It's like, you know, like or I've got a full company of Marines. It's like 1,000 Marines, right? 100 Marines, right? Well, I want to be like, not only have I got a full company, you know, I've not got a full company. I've got 9 full companies of guardsmen. You know, I've got a full regiment of guard, which I think is pretty big. My plan would be like at the end to have like, you know, I can say I've got a full Codex compliant, not Codex like Codex Astartes, I mean like Imperial Guard Codex, Tactical Imperium style regiment. That's where I want to be. That's what I want. So that's the goal. So it feels good to be getting back on the infantry. What I've got next is I've actually this particular sculpt. These guys aiming the rifle, that was the most numerous sculpt I had in the platoon, all 10 of them. So I've got no more of them. So now what the next sculpt is, it's a bunch of guys holding the las rifles like in the air, like as they're marching forward. But there's only 6 of them. So I'm going to have 2 sculpts completed next week, and I'm going to have one of them is with the bayonets fixed in like the at ease position, in the, I don't know, bayonets to the shoulder, and the others with the guards like marching forward, the lads going like one hand, like but the point is the sculpts are very similar. All the lads guns are pointing up in the air. That should give me a little bit of variety, so I can do 6 guys in one pose, great, and then I can do 3 guys in another pose, which will add a little bit of variety. So next week I should get 9 guardsmen finished. That's the plan anyway. A little bit more variety. If possible, I might chuck in an extra guardsman, like an extra special weapon or something, to bring it up to the 10 that I try and do each week when I'm doing this. But that might not be possible simply because I've got the 2 different poses, so there'll be a little bit of inefficiency there, as I previously mentioned. But also, one of the guys, just knocked him over there as I picked him up. One of the guys has got like a stumpy little like club hand where it's not molded properly on the sculpt. So I'm going to have to cut that off and like put like another hand, like it with like a chainsaw, like a las pistol or something, or like a grenade or something there, so that he looks a little bit more uniform or something. So it just looks like a miscast at the moment. We want to make sure that the models are all looking good, because Mordian Restoration Party want to restore them to their full glory. But yeah, that's basically where I'm up to, guys. So that's what I've worked on. That's what I'm going to work. That's what I'm going to be working on next week. I think the last thing to say, just to mention, is that there isn't going to be, unless something changes, but there's very unlikely to be any more tournament reports till the end of the year, and in fact, until next year, because my December I've got no tournaments. There's none nearby. There's none that I've got booked. So it's been great. I've had 6 months of actually smashing the tournament scene, but we're going to have a little bit more of a relax in December. And what I want to do with this December is get back on the hobbying side just for a month. Just see if I can get a whole platoon done in a month, because that would be it normally takes like 2 months to do it. So if I can just spend a month just hobbying and just get a whole platoon done, then at the end of the year I can be like, look, project's been going on for about 2 years. I've got a company done each year, and then the end is in sight, and we'll be able to get the 3rd company done and the regiment done and the project completed by the end of next year. That would be great. That would be ideal. So we'll see how that goes, obviously. But that's kind of the plan. Now, one other thing to mention, which is now that I've done lots and lots of tournaments. The tournaments are kind of winding down until next season. I've got Adepticon booked for next year, and I've got a teams tournament in January booked. So I'll be doing those. Still be keeping my finger on the pulse of the meta, of course, with new missions and everything coming. Of course, and I may have a grand tournament coming as well. So I might have like 3 tournaments in Q1 of 2022, but it's not going to be like it has been, where it's been 1 tournament every 2 weeks like clockwork for like 6 months, which is pretty much how it's been. I think it's averaged out with, there's been a couple of breaks, it's averaged out of me doing a tournament every 3 weeks on average. So I've done like, I think I've been to 12 tournaments. I've been to 12 tournaments at least in 6 months. So that's like 1 every 2 weeks basically, but then obviously the months aren't exactly 4 weeks, are they? So it's like 1 every 3 weeks roughly. So that's smashing that competitive scene pretty hard. I'm pretty happy with that. But what I'm saying is, I'm just going to be doing 3 tournaments at the beginning of next year. What I'm hoping for is this end of this month and sort of beginning of next year, that I'll be able to get battle reports done. Because we've got the battle bunker, which I spent ages at the beginning of this year getting set up, and I did like half a dozen battle reports in there. And then lockdown fully lifted in the UK, and we were able to just smash that tournament scene. So what I'm hoping is to get a nice happy medium next year. We'll see how COVID is and how lockdown is, but my plan is that, have a nice happy medium of having some hobby stuff, doing some battle reports, and going to some tournaments. And if I can average, sort of 1 tournament a month, and then 1 battle report a month, and that, something, average that. Some months will be, maybe it'll be like 2 battle reports a month or 1 tournament. But let's say 1 battle report, 1 tournament a month, every month, and then tactics videos in between. Hopefully that'll be like a nice steady schedule that we can have next year, and that'll be really good. Because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to formalize and uniform the Mordian Glory channel a little bit more. Sort of Tuesdays and Thursdays are the regular videos. When I do a Mordian Mondays, I'll do a Monday video as well, and that's kind of what I'm going for. Let me know what you guys think. As always, I love all of the feedback, appreciate all the advice that I get from you guys. And Mordian Glory, we like videos on these days, or we don't really care, all that kind of stuff. We just like content. So yeah, just give me lots and lots of feedback. I do need to do a channel update video at some point. I like to do like an end of year wrap up and whatnot, so I'll be doing one of those. Got to talk about monetization of the channel at some point, because YouTube has changed its rules, so it's worth having a conversation about that. I never do monetization without running it past you guys, so that video will be coming up at some point. But yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed this video. As always, let me know about your hobby progress. I know this one was a bit eclectic and all over the place, but this was a classic Mordian Mondays about classic metal models. This is classic Mordian Glory content. It's all over the place. Who cares? It's just fun. Let me know what you guys have been thinking. Let me know what you guys have been working on. Hope you enjoyed the video, and of course, I'll see you guys next time.